Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is I Just Facts Made here again. Welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am I Just Facts Made, and for those that came back because of the previous video on the cutting of this dress, thank you for coming back. So let's get started. So I first of all went ahead to turn my rose base, and this is what it looks like. Remember that we did a base for our rose. Yes, that is where our cascading florins will be placed on to form the rose. And then this is what my cascading florins looks like after whipping it. I had to use a fishing line at the tip of that flounce. And yeah, let's get started. Now, don't forget that we interfaced with a cotton hairstay, and of course, as usual, I usually do have an inch on every side, and where necessary I do 0.1 inch or 0.75 inch. But for this corset, for the cup of this corset, I did have an inch all around the corset. Yes, have an inch all around the corset. And on the main body of the corset, we also did have an inch. So I'll simply be joining have an inch on every part. Okay, now before I go to start my joining, I'll first of all nudge all the necessary areas. Remember that we have to take note of the parts that we are joining so that we don't join the wrong sides. And on this cup, I am going to be adding an extra interfacing, which is our soft warden, to the part where we'll be caged. That's the part where I'll be caging. I added a soft warden to it, okay, so that it can have a thick layer. So I'll just go ahead and join. We notched already, so I'm going to go ahead pairing each side, the right side to the left side, and then joining it together. Remember that it will also help if you number your pattern paper before transferring it to your fabric so that you don't make any mistake. And also, we have a total of 4 parts from this cup. So one is the main fabric and one is the part that is going to be caged, which is the lining. Okay, so we have it on the both sides of the bust, making it 4 parts. Now when I'm done stitching the 2 sides, I'll go ahead and join the upper part of this cup. Remember that I am doing a 3-part cup, and this is what our 3-part cup looks like. Now you can actually choose to do a 2-part cup, okay, or whatever design you want to work with, but for me, I decided to do a 3-part cup. And when I was done turning, I had to trim out the excess joining, okay, because I want the fixing of my bony structure to be seamless. That is why I went ahead to trim off the excess joining. I'm going to be working with a regiline bone of 8mm for my caging. Yes, a regiline bone of 8mm. Now, please, because I don't want this video to be too fast, I'm going to be dropping a link in the description below so that you click and watch a detailed video on how to cage your cup. Yes, a detailed video on how to cage your cup. I'm actually going to be dropping a lot of links in that description because a lot of things that I have done here is already on this channel. Yes, it's already on this channel. So we do not want this video to be as long as 50 minutes or more. It will really get tiring. So for those that are not already used to this or don't already know how to do this, I will drop the link in the description below. Now, the essence of your caging is that you want to cage your cup to be firm and full like this. You do not want to cage your cup to be flat, okay? So this is the essence. So whatever technique you decide to use to do your caging works. Now when I'm done, I'm going to be doing my fleshing. Fleshing simply means just covering up the part that has already been caged. So you can use your hairstay to flesh, or you can use your fiber like I am using here, or you can use a warden to flesh. Now the option of what to use is totally up to you, okay? So I'll just go ahead and stitch down my fiber onto this pattern, onto the caged part. Okay, so if you're using your hairstay, you just simply have to iron on top of it. But for me, I'm going to use my fiber, though I see people using hemming gum to stick their fiber together. For me, this works best because you are sure that your fiber is not going to pull off. Now when I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and just sew the upper part of this cup together. Now this is one method to fix your cup onto your corset. This is just one method. You can choose to do the lining to lining and fabric to fabric. That is fixing your cup on the lining and fixing the main cup on the fabric. Okay, so whichever one works fine. Now when I was done turning, I just went to just check to be sure that my cup is sitting pretty and nice, and yeah, I am satisfied with the results that I have. Now before I go into the main sewing for our main corset, I would like us to make the skirt. But this skirt, I am doing it off camera because I know that a lot of us can already join a skirt. Okay, so I'm doing the sewing of this skirt off camera, and when I'm done, this is what our skirt looks like. Now when I'm done with this skirt, I'll go ahead and just fix up my rows. Yes, please, a detailed video on the start to finish of these rows will follow after this tutorial. Yes, I will be dropping a detailed video for those that want a separate video on how to start and finish these rows. I'm going to be dropping a detailed video after this video, after the sewing video. But for the purpose of this sewing video, I am doing everything and compressing everything into this video. Yes, but then I'm going to do a separate video afterwards just to talk about how to cut the cascading, how to make it, and how to sew it all in one video just to make this rows. Okay, so if you watched this video so far, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and leave a nice comment for us. And if you haven't subscribed, of course you know that you should subscribe to this channel. Thank you as you do so. So this is just my students helping me to like sew up the rows. So the whole idea is just to be pushing in some gathers, pushing in some pleats, pushing in some gathers, just to take it round around until you get to the main tip of the base of this rows. And this is what you should have when you are done sewing your rows round. Okay, now at the end of the day, I would go ahead and sew the main body of my corset. Now you know that we did have half-inch allowance to join the body of this corset, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and sew out this half inch together to form the main body of this corset. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and stitch every part together nicely like so. Okay, so now when you're done stitching, don't forget that you do the same thing on the lining and on the main fabric. Everything you do for the lining is the same thing that you're going to be doing on your main fabric. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and finish up every part. Also, I would like to advise that if you haven't tried out a corset before, please watch my transparent corset video for more clarity. It would really help you to understand the rest of the corset videos I will be posting. Now when I was done sewing, I went ahead to iron out everything together, and this part here is going to be used to cover our lacing bar area. Okay, like I said before, please try and watch our dartless corset video. Now I went ahead to fix my style line off camera because I already have a video of how to fix your boning channels. Okay, I'm going to also drop that in the description below. And when I was done, I went ahead to just put our regiline bone at the side of this corset. Now this regiline bone at the side of this corset is just going to help give this dress a good structure, give your corset top a good structure. And then don't forget that when you are done, you would also have to put your regiline bone at the part where you are going to lace it. Okay, don't forget to do that, just like I did here. And when I was done, I went ahead to like sew up the top area of this corset. So I'll be sewing out by half inch all the way out. I'm sewing out by half inch And I will say this again, please watch my transparent corset video, as I made a very detailed video there on how to sew corset. Yes, it is not a corset with that, but it will give you a guide to making any kind of corset, like how to go about it. Yes, please do watch that less corset or transparent corset video. Okay. All right, when I'm done sewing this, I will just go ahead and nudge, because I want to turn it out and let it lie flat. So when I went ahead to like nudge, I would take it to my ironing table and iron it flat. And then I would go ahead and sew out this lacing bar area. I want it to stick together with the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and use my machine to stitch it down. Don't forget that you're working with 1.5 inch for your lacing bar, and that the middle part will not have the boning channel, because you want your eyelets to stick in freely without stressing you. Okay, but if you have the power to make it 3, fine, go ahead. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and use my pins to just hold down this so that everywhere can sit and match with the sides together. Okay, so I'll go ahead and use my pins. I'll hold it down. Now when I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and fix my cup. Now for this method I'm doing, I'm going to be sewing my cup. So I'm going to place the main fabric to the corset top. Yes, I'm placing the main fabric to the corset top. And for this place, I feel like everybody has to be very, very careful and extremely cautious, because you have to make sure that everywhere is pinned top to bottom and it is matching the right spots. Yes, it is matching the right spot, because you want to be done and your cup is sitting at where it's supposed to sit. So take your time and pin, and when necessary you can make some adjustments. So I went ahead to like pin it together to hold it down at the right places. And when I was okay with my pinning, when I was sure that okay, I have pinned it well, that is when I will now go ahead to sew. Remember that your main fabric is what you are sewing at the front, while the caged part is what will fall at the back. Okay, so remember that your main fabric is what is being sewn right now, before you now close it up with the caged part. Also, you can choose to do the caged part to the lined part of your corset, and the uncaged part to the main fabric of your corset, and turn everything like an inseam. Okay, that's another way to fix your cup. Now when I was done, I will have to go ahead and adjust and stretch it till I make sure that everywhere matches right. Yes, I will go ahead and stretch it and pull it till I'm sure everywhere matches right, and then I'll go ahead and use my pins to hold it down on every corner. Yes, because you do not want your cup not to sit in well, and the cage effect is what is going to make your cup not to be flat. So you have to make sure that you've pushed it well enough to sit into the cup, just like this. So I had to make sure that this took me a while. So I had to make sure that I push it well to make sure that it sits in nice and good. Okay, now when I'm done with this and I'm okay with the result I've gotten, I will now go ahead and stitch. Now I will advise that when sewing, you should sew to the front and then control the pins by pulling it from under, because if you do not control your pin, you would end up breaking a lot of needles. So you can see that it was a struggle for me here, but it was worth it. Okay, it was actually worth it. So just make sure that you stitch towards the front area if you're stitching it together. Another way is to pin it and use your thread and needle to neatly hand tack it at the back. Either ways, it still give you a good result. So you just choose your fight. You just choose what you can, deal with and what you can work with. Okay. All right. So now if you've gotten to this point in this video and you are still not subscribed to this channel, You're on the wrong, you are on the wrong. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now I'll just go ahead and just finish up my corset, like pipe the lower part and then attach my skirt to it. You can see that this is the finished point, and if you look at this video very well, you see that the skirt is joined towards the hem part of the corset top. Yes, that is because this skirt, it's a low waist skirt, it is not a high-waisted skirt, and this is what my client requested for. And the original video, the original style inspiration is a skirt and a top, but she did not want the skirt and a top, the lowest skirt and a top, so she asked me to turn it into a dress. So you can do it whichever way you want. Now basically we are done with this dress, and what is left is just to hand tack these roses. Now I had a total of 14 roses here, and I used about 7.5 yards to achieve these 14 roses. Yes, I did. I used 7.5 yards. Now you can decide not to make yours as full as I made mine. You can make yours a little bit scancier than this. It's all up to you, okay? But this was what I decided to work with. And of course, hand tacking this is no jokes, because I had to hand tag round the base just so that it can stick to the clothes without pulling off. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I am very sure that you have learned a thing or two, right? Let me know in the comments if this video was helpful to you. Let me know that you have learned something. It really means a lot to me. And don't forget to share this video to someone that you know might need to see this class. Thank you so much, and see you on my next video. Don't forget that we are posting the rose tutorial next. Bye.